Alright, hey everybody, this is Panzerbrew again. Today we're going to be taking a look at some aim control and PS4 settings. So we're going to jump into a training match so we can look at these more efficiently and not have to worry about anybody trying to kill us. So we're going to use the training match, and then we're going to go through the settings menu and just kind of break down what it's got in there from the basic settings to the advanced settings.
Welcome to Apex Legends.
Hey Bloodhound, how are you doing?
You can call me Bloodhound.
Bloodhound.
Let us begin with basic movement. Complete the checklist on your HUD.
I'm crouching, I swear. Okay, so I'm doing this so that you can help improve your aim and gain a better comfortable feeling when you're aiming.
Inside the territories, you can find supply bins that carry weapons and resources.
Yeah, you're so loud.
Open one.
Okay, so let's skip past this so we can get to the weapons too.
Your HUD will show what you have equipped. Follow the checklist to access and cycle through your inventory.
Alright. And swapping. Okay.
Inside the supply bin, you will find a weapon and ammo. Arm yourself.
Alright, so this is the only weapon we'll be using for right now. But let's go ahead and start with the basic gameplay settings. So if you hold down in this match, you can go to the basic gameplay settings.
Shot is important as well as the weapon you hold.
I don't want to talk to you right now, Bloodhound.
The field is full of choices. Remember, you can carry only 2 weapons. To equip another weapon, you must swap out the one you are holding. Choose your new. A powerful key to becoming an Apex Legend is communication with your brethren. You can ping different locations, objects, and enemies.
Boy, you sure are annoying.
Follow the checklist to cycle through your pings.
Okay, so hold it down, get to settings, and Respawn did a really good job of explaining what most of the settings, or actually all of the settings, do. So you see interact, prompt style, display more or less information about weapons and items on the ground. You can do default or compact. That's personal preference. Button hints and crosshair damage feedback. Now this one's pretty important for gameplay. I think by default it comes with X, so show an X on your crosshair. Now personally I like to keep it with X and shield icon. This lets me know what kind of shield they have and how much of that shield they have left, or how much damage I've done to that shield. I think both of those are really important, but that's personal preference. Damage numbers. This by default is on stacking, I believe. So I'll show you what stacking does real quick. Stacking is that right there. It just every bullet is added in to the final damage. Floating is similar, except you just see each individual bullet. I like to apply both so that it shows me every bullet and it shows me the last amount of damage, or the max damage that I did. Again, that's preference, but I think it's helpful to know exactly how much you did and how much each shot was doing. These are kind of just more personal preference. Do you like to see the pings a lot? Do you like to see the obituaries? Incoming damage feedback. You can either be like a left and a right on the screen, or it could be like an arrow pointing in a general direction of where they're coming from. Streamer mode just lets you not see anybody's name on there. Usage sharing. What is this about? It collects your data, so that's more for EA. This is for colorblind. Subtitles, chat features, convert text. Let's move on to the more important features, which is where you see your controller settings. So you have your stick layouts here. I play default. This is something that you can mess around with to decide what works best for you. There's interactive, so tap and use to reload. This is just tap. You can do hold, or you can do tap to use and tap or hold to reload. So I like it on tap. I don't like to have to hold to reload. Certainly don't like to hold to use most of the time. Tapping is easiest for me. So the aim button is a hold. You can use toggle if you want to. If you use toggle, it's going to be a little bit harder to get out of it though. I like to keep crouch button on toggle, that way I have a free my movement for my thumb is a little bit more free. So I turned the max dead zone up for buttons L2 and R2. This means that they're more sensitive, but this also means that if for some reason I didn't push it down all the way when I thought I did, it's still going to fire because it's so sensitive. Now sensitivity can definitely help your gameplay. It can make you more comfortable, and if you're more comfortable, you're more likely to do well in the game. I keep mine on 4 for sensitivity and aim down sights on 5 because you're just a little bit slower while aiming down sights, and this helps me with my kick control. So what I mean by that is if it's a lower recoil or if it's a lower sensitivity, it's going to require me to pull down on the joystick more. Let me turn down my audio a little bit so you don't have to hear as much. It requires me to pull down on it more. And back into settings. Okay. The response curve determines how the sticks and analogs input is used to turn your view. I stick to classic. I've tried the others. They don't work very well for me. You can give them a try. So steady, if you use the steady, it's a balance of firm control and fast aim. I'll just do a classic left to right motion. So 1, 2, 1, 2. And then I'll switch it over to steady and we'll do it. So steady is pretty good, except if you can't notice it right away, it doesn't go quite as fast. Right at the end when it stops and I turn back to the other direction, it has a longer delay. It's changes like that that are more for you and less for improving your gameplay. That's about that comfortability I was talking about. These are less important, but we're going to move into advanced settings. Now the thing with advanced settings is that they are a little bit more difficult, but if you take the time to really customize it for you, it can give you added benefits, added comfortability. So you go in here, turn it on, and you've got this huge array of every setting, or every setting you can imagine for aim sensitivity, dead zone, response curve, stuff like that. So these here are for your not aiming down sights, and the bottom ones are your aim down sights. So that's what ADS is. Up here you have general settings like your dead zone, which is the size of the inner range at which your stick put is registered. So there is your outer range and your inner range. For the stick put, you can kind of think like the inner range is where the stick stands straight up and down, the smaller circle, and then the outer range is when your stick is out of that smaller circle. You can determine like how far out of that circle you have to push it for it to actually take effect. So the shape and the magnitude of remapping be applied to the stick. Yeah, so this just changes how sensitive it is to a movement of the joystick. Target compensation, generally keep that on. That's basically your auto aim for consoles. So for yaw speed and pitch speed, so this is left and right and this is up and down. This is your turning, which is like all the way around, and this is your ramp up. So like how long does it take before you reach that maximum turning speed. If you like to have, we'll turn this all the way down and then we'll turn this all the way up, or just about. So it's going to take me a little bit, but then all of a sudden it's going to jump off. Now you can mess with that and try to get it to what's perfect. Well, we will restore defaults. So what I kind of like to do, specifically in the aim down sights, I don't like to mess with this too much, maybe to get it to a more comfortable speed, but I don't like to mess with these as much. That's just personal preference. What I like to do is I like to change the aim down sights pitch speed. So move that pitch speed up a little bit. Now what that means is it's going to be looking up and down a little bit quicker. So when I'm aiming, my left to right is like this, but my up and down is like this. So that allows me to pull down on the joystick less to be able to get a better aim. Versus having this up, or sorry, having this down, which will require me to pull back further on the joystick to reach the same effect. That's personally what I like to mess with the most. Turning, extra yaw speed. I don't like to mess with these as much as same as this. It's really just this yaw speed and this pitch speed for aim down sights and for regular. Now this is just a little bit more particular than the basic settings, but that little bit of a difference can make it more comfortable for you, improve your gameplay a little bit, hopefully, and that might be all it takes. So really that's all I wanted to cover in this video. We covered some aim settings from the basics, and then we looked at the more advanced controls and what maybe you should be focusing on and what you should take a look with. I'd recommend that you jump in here, take a look around, mess with some settings, look in training, you know, see what works best for your gameplay. Try to work on getting, you know, a good steady aim at like long distances, because you know the further you get away the harder it is, so then you just gotta work with it. Now really another thing I'd recommend to help improve your aim would be control freaks. Now I'm sure you've heard about this before. Now control freaks are an extension of your analog stick. They just kind of snap onto it, and what they will help you do is you will have to make less drastic movements to have the same effect. And essentially what that does is that turns that yaw speed and pitch speed up a little bit, but not actually in the game. It just does it for you. You just have to make less of a movement to get further. Or, well, sorry, you have to go over further, but since it's raised up, your thumbs have to move less. So, you know, try some control freaks. They're not too expensive. You can get either control freak brands or off brands at GameStop for like 15, 20 bucks. And they last a long time. And they're pretty cool looking on there too. Anyways, that's all for now, folks. If y'all want to comment down below what you thought about the video, what you do for your settings, stuff like that, definitely would appreciate it. You can follow me on Twitter, Twitch, and subscribe here for more content. See you later.